I thought the Megazord was the coolest toy. And it was never given to me. I got it from a fan. A fan was like, you don't have this, I want to give it to you. So they gave me a Megazord like 20 years later. But I never had one from back in the day. It was like, oh, really nice. We got great fans, right? So I got a Megazord, and I took it home, and I sat down, and I played with it, and I put it together, and I was like, it's so cool. And then when my kids were born, I allowed them to play with it. And I'm like, all right, there you go. You got the Megazord. So I think the Megazord is probably one of my favorite collectibles that I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, Walter Jones.
One, two, testing. One, can you hear me?
You sound great.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Can you hear you now?
Can you hear me now? What's up, guys?
Hello, Walter.
Hey.
So we're going to ask a couple of questions, and then I guess if anybody does have a question for Walter, if you want to line up here off to the side, on this side here, we'll get to your questions right after we do some Q&A. So, Walter, best thing I'm going to start off with is welcome. Welcome to New York.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome to White Plains. Yes. Let's ask, how did you originally land the role of Zack? And what was that process like auditioning for Power Rangers?
Well, it was an audition process. They were apparently seeing thousands of people to be a Power Ranger, to be Power Rangers. And what had happened was, okay, there we go. I need to be further back. This is better? Is it good? Okay. Anyway, turns out I was auditioning while I was on a show called Star Search.
Is it me? Is it me?
I was on a show called Star Search, and better? I'm like, my ears are like, stop it. No, so I was doing a show called Star Search as a singer. So I was with this boys band. I forget the name of the group, but we went on Star Search and we competed against a number of other artists, including Beyonce, and we also lost. We all lost. So I came back to LA, and my agent was like, they want to see you for this show called Phantoms. And I was like, okay, you'll be a superhero. They look for somebody that can somebody that can dance, do martial arts, and gymnastics. So I'm like, I could do all that. And they were like, that's great. So we want to send you in. So I went in for the audition, and I did the acting part, which I knew I had because I'm an actor. I am an actor. And so went in, did that, knocked out the acting part, and then they said, all right, so can you show us a little bit of dancing? So I did some hip hop. I was like, all right, did my thing. And they said, can you do any martial arts? And I said, yeah. And they said, can you show me something? So I did a kata. I did some punches, some kicks. They said, can you do any flips? I'm like, there's not a lot of room in here. But I can do a backflip. So I did a backflip. And they were like, that's great. Now, can you put it all together? And I was like, now? You mean right now? And they put it all together? I'm like, do I have the time to think about this? But they said, no, I want to show us what you got. So I thought about it, I thought about breakdancing. So when you breakdance, it's like you're having a battle, but you're not really fighting, right? So I thought, okay, breakdancing. I thought, let me do a kata. So I bowed in. And I did a couple of punches, and I went to the breakdance move, did a flare, came up, did a backflip, and a bowed out. And they were like, that was great. So after about 2 weeks, they put us all together. They had 3 casts. They had a short cast, a tall cast, and an older cast. And, the shorties won. So I became a Power Ranger, and that was the process, yeah.
So when you got there, I'll project.
I can hear you.
When you got there,
yes.
What was that like? So you said you have the short cast, you're all there on the set, you've got the costumes, right? Can you hear me now? Oh, better, okay. You had the costumes.
We didn't get the costumes until we did the pilot. Okay. So I never even I had no idea what it was going to look like. Apparently, the show was a Sentai show, so it had been running in Japan for 20 years. but I had never seen it. I mean, I'd seen like Ultraman and Johnny Sacco, those kind of shows, but I'd never seen Power Rangers or Sentai Rangers, whatever, and I had no idea what it was going to look like. But then when we started doing the pilot, we started rehearsing and going through everything, and then the wardrobe person said, the uniforms are here. So I was like, oh, so we ran into the wardrobe room, and there, hanging inside the wardrobe room were all the costumes. The first one I saw was the Red Ranger. I was like, ooh, that red costume is tight. And I saw the black one. I was like, I want this one. She's like, that's yours. And I'm like, yes. So Black Ranger, then we would put on the costumes or the uniforms, and they adjusted them to our bodies, and because they're very tight. Spandex, you see, yes. It was like every dent, everything was there. It was like, okay, all right. But we put on the costumes, and then we started our journey as Power Rangers. It was wild.
And how soon after that journey began and, it hit the airwaves, did you guys start realizing this is something that's a little bit bigger than what we expected it to be, bigger than us even? Well,
it was weird because we did the show. The show was on Monday through Friday on Fox Kids. And so we did 40, we were originally supposed to do 40 episodes for the first season. We ended up doing 60. But we shot like at least 20 before the show aired. And so I was walking down Venice Beach and with my cousin, hanging out. We had shot about 20 episodes, and these kids ran up to me and said, hey, you're the Black Ranger. And I was like, yeah, I am, but how do you know? The show hasn't even come out yet. They're like, I just bought your toy, and your face is on the box. And I was like, I have a toy? They're like, yeah, your face is on the box. And I'm like, what kind of toy? They're like, it's an action figure. I looked at my cousin and I go, I got an action figure and my face is on the box. My cousin goes, you got an action figure, your face is on the box. I'm like, we were walking down the Venice Beach, like, hey, I got an action figure, my face is on the box. And even now, today, when I see that action figure, it reminds me of that story because it was wild. The toys were selling off the shelves before the show even came out. So I think at that point, I was like, oh, this looks like it could be a good thing. And then the show aired. X-Men was the #1 show on Fox Kids at that time, but we knocked them out of their spot. Originally, they opened for us, but then we took over the #1 spot, and it was crazy. It was just within a week or two, the producers let us know we were the #1 kids show in the world. And I was like, that's strange. Did you just say the world? That was a lot. The show aired in 40 countries and a number of different languages, and here we are 32 years later. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you mentioned about 32 years later, you were I guess the founding fathers of this incredible television legacy, right?
Yes, we are the American first. The show has run in Japan for 50 years at this point, but it's been running 50 or 40, maybe 40, 50? Yeah, 50. Sorry, 1975? Yeah. These guys know. They know. So 50 years, and it's been running here for 32 years. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So the chemistry of the cast, what was that like? Who was the jokester? What did you guys do when you weren't shooting?
You know what? It's interesting because as guys, like you had me and Austin, and when JDF joined the cast, it added a whole different level of testosterone, because like we were boys, and like we're like doing we're all challenging each other to do like handstands, and we're all doing like David was a gymnast, so David, Amy Jo were both gymnasts, so they could do like a handstand. So we all wanted to learn. We're all like between takes doing handstands and then pressing down to a press and trying to press back up, and it was a lot of fun. It was just the energy of us. We had a great connection because we are all friends, and even before we were cast, we all went together to Bob's Big Boy, and we sat down and we talked about our characters and talked about why we were friends and our history, and kind of build a backstory to what we were about, So when it came to the putting together the scripts, we all kind of like knew why we were friends and what it was like, and I think that it came across on film.
Yeah, excellent. And you mentioned that story on Venice Beach, and that's why I did want to ask this. And this is a great question here. So you were one of the first black superheroes on television.
I was the first black superhero on live action TV.
So what was that like? I mean, and even,
Thank you for
even
that.
to this
Hey,
day.
give it up. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Hey, let's go.
Because I mean, you inspired a lot of young people at that point seeing you because they're like, that's me on there.
Yeah,
What's that
I
been
mean,
like?
representation matters, absolutely. And I'm from Detroit, so I did say that before. I'm from the D. What's up, though? And see, and so for me, coming from Detroit is a predominantly black city, so I didn't realize that I heard people speak that black people were minorities, and I didn't know that living in Detroit because they're mostly black people. I was surrounded by black people, and then I got to San Diego to go to college because I got a scholarship to go to School of Performing Arts. And when I got there, I was like, oh, that's why they say we're minorities, because I was the only black face in like a crowd full of, I was in a room with like 800 people, and I was like the only black person. I was like, oh, this is different. And so I was very proud to be a black person on television. There was not a lot of diversity at the time, and I was proud that they were making a diverse cast. Like we had, myself, we had Tri Trang, who was Vietnamese, and the fact that we were 3 boys and 2 girls originally. Then JDF joined us, but 3 boys and 2 girls together as friends. I think that was an important message for everybody to see, because then, when you guys played the game, when you played Power Rangers, you went outside, you're like, okay, you're Kimberly, and you're Trini, and I'm Zack, and that's gonna be Jason, and you came together as groups of people, and everybody had representation. So I think that was important to pass on to kids and form a new generation of people that wanted to know each other,
Yeah, and with that, I mean, you've probably encountered so many people going and doing conventions or just walking around in the mall and restaurants, whatever. What are some of the inspiring stories that you've heard from that?
Wow, I hear some of the most amazing stories, and it always makes my heart so happy because I mean, everybody wants to have left an impact on the world in some way, and I feel like with Power Rangers, it's like we took a rock, we threw it in the water, and it created these positive ripples, all around the world. I've had Marines come up to me and go, hey man, I'm a Marine, and I've served like 2 tours, but I did it because I wanted to be like you. You inspired me to be a hero. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I had people come up to me and said, I had a little kid, and that was amazing. He said, he was 11 years old, and he came up to me, and this kid was beyond his years. I don't know. It was like he was grown. He was a grown kid, but he walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan. You were my childhood." And I was like, "Part of your childhood?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How old are you? 11?" He's like, 11. I was like, "Wow." I'm thinking you're still a kid. I'm like, "Part of your childhood." I was like, "Well, when did you start watching the show?" He said, "When I was 5." And I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I am his childhood. He's been watching the show since he's 5 years old. He's 11. That's 6 years longer than a kid. Anyway, he walked up to me and said, I was adopted, but I was in foster care first, and I went from home to home to home, and I wasn't really a happy childhood, and I was sick. But what got me through is I watched Power Rangers, and from the show, I wanted to be strong because you guys were strong characters, and you were my favorite. So I just wanted to be like you. I would think like you. What would Zack do, kind of thing? And it pushed him to get through the negativity. And he told me, he said, "Yeah, well, I finally got adopted by this family." But then my adopted father and his brother got into a fight, and they ended up going to jail. So now I'm out of that. I'm back into foster care. But I'm still, it was a horrible story. And then he pulled up his shirt, and he had tubes coming out of his belly. He'd been having all these operations, and but he was in good spirits, and he was happy to meet me. And the fact that I inspired him, I mean, it just makes my heart like, wow. I'm like, it's... those kind of things it's bigger than just being an actor. The fact that it has a positive impact on people it's amazing. It's amazing. It was very heartwarming, and to think that there's stories like that from all around the world in 40 countries. You know, I had a girl come up to me recently at a Comic Con, and I don't know if you know about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, right? So terminally ill kids, we would go to hospitals and we would meet kids. And all the Rangers, we went to a hospital in LA for Make-A-Wish, and it was like the terminally ill kids in this hospital. And there was one kid that the nurse was telling us, like, this kid, he has burns all over his body. He's like 85% burned, and he wakes up in pain every day, and he's not smiled, and you know, he's having a rough time. And we all came over to his window. We couldn't go in because he was, you know, it was dangerous for him to be around other people. But we looked in, and he saw us, like all of us in our Power Rangers uniforms. We took off our helmets, and he saw us, and his face lit up in a big smile. And we were like, I mean, that kind of thing is like just what a blessing. And I was saying that just a couple of weeks ago, I had a girl come to me, and she was like, hey, how you doing, Walter? And I was like, hey. And she was like, I met you when I was a little kid. I was in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You were my wish to meet you. And I met you like then. And she's like, and I'm still here. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, come here. And I give her a big hug. And I'm like, that is amazing. So I don't know, just there's tons of stories like that. And it's not just my stories. It's like Amy Jo, David, Austin, all of us have these stories to tell, and how we've affected the lives of people. And it's been 3 generations now. So it's beyond an honor. I'm so happy to be part of something that's been so positive.
You know, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because 32 years, you said, of Power Rangers, right?
So, I'm only 28, which is kind of weird, you know? I'm not sure how that happened, but...
but probably over 100 plus Rangers altogether.
Yeah, there have been a number of seasons, and over 100 Rangers. And we just had a Comic Con in... Atlanta. We were in Atlanta. It was a Ranger Stop. And so there were a bunch of Rangers there, and wow, it's an incredible thing to have a bunch of people in the same room, and to be among the first cast, you know, and to know that all those people are generally pretty positive. All those people are kind-hearted and also have waves of fans that they make happy. I think Power Rangers in itself is something that has been really, really positive in the world. It's interesting because the movie, how many of you guys saw the 2017 movie, right? Not Ivan Ooze, the 2017. No, the one that the
Elizabeth Banks one.
The most recent big one. Yeah, 2017. No, Once and Always that's recent, like that's 2023. It's the one, yes, it's the one where the Blue Ranger was slightly autistic. Yes. All right, so in that movie, I thought the movie was good. It was very entertaining. I went and saw it, took my kids, they liked it. But I think where they missed the mark was the Power Rangers, they were teenagers with attitude, but they were teenagers with attitude because they were delinquent. Yeah. Whereas we were teenagers with attitude because we were confident. We were confident. We believed in ourselves. We were good at everything we did. Like everybody had their skill set. And because of that, we were confident, and that's inspiring to kids. Whereas, if you're delinquent and you find a magic rock and it makes you a Power Ranger, and now you got to figure out how to do it because you don't know how to be a team. That's not the message we want to give out. I think the message of Power Rangers was like, be the best that you can be at all the things you love, and then you can make a difference in the world. And I think that was an important message. And the show was kind of like we gave life lessons. We taught you not to be a bully, not to pollute the world, to care about other people, to get past your fears. All those things are really positive. And I think it was an important thing.
And that's like the true legacy, and that sisterhood and brotherhood that you're a part of is that's why everybody comes back and looks at the Power Rangers with such fondness, especially that original cast too.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we were on Monday through Friday made a difference. You know, it's like we were on, and at one point it was Monday through Saturday. Yep. And the fact that we did so many episodes, and the beginning of it with all the merchandise. Oh my gosh, so much merchandise. There's everything. We got action figures and pops and pogs and trading cards, 3 series of comic books. There's so much merch with our likeness attached to it. Unfortunately, we didn't make any money off of that, but it's amazing to know that that's all in the world and it exists. And at this point, I've been doing Comic Cons for maybe about 14 years. And it's amazing to think that all those things that I've signed are going to live on way beyond my years, It's pretty amazing.
Do you have a favorite piece of merchandise in your own collection or a piece that you don't have that you want to have?
You know what? It's weird because as much as the toys were selling off the shelves and it was hard to get, people would camp outside of the toy store so they could get their Power Ranger action figure or the Megazord or whatever. I thought the Megazord was the coolest toy. And it was never given to me. I got it from a fan. A fan was like, you don't have this, I want to give it to you. So they gave me a Megazord like 20 years later. But I never had one from back in the day. It was like, oh, really nice. We got great fans, right? So I got a Megazord and I took it home and I sat down and I played with it. And I put it together, and I was like, it's so cool. And when my kids were born, I allowed them to play with it. And I'm like, all right, there you go. You got the Megazord. So I think the Megazord is probably one of my favorite collectibles that I have. Nice. But I have some pretty cool stuff. I have the juice bar sign from the juice bar, Ernie's Juice Bar. I have the neon sign. I have a skateboard from the pilot. When Zack came in on the skateboard, it was like, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? It was like, it was a lot of what's ups in that episode. I was like, they in the original pilot, they had me as Zack because they wanted to show that Zack was popular, he was beloved by everybody, and so they had us in this bowling alley, and I come skateboarding into the bowling alley, and I'm saying what's up to everybody. Everybody's like, what's up, Zack? What's up, Zack? I'm even skateboarding on the counter, which makes no sense at all. But I don't know if that's actually still in the pilot or it was cut, but they actually had me do that. And I was like, this is weird. Like, why would I be doing that? They're like, that's kind of strange. Anyway, but I have the skateboard. I have a couple of shirts. I have a communicator. Dee, 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 dee. It's funny. That happens to me all the time. I'll be in the market shopping and I'll hear that dee, 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 dee. And I'm like, and I'll do like this, and then somebody starts laughing. It was you! It was you! I think people do that just to see if it's me. It's like, let me see what's going to happen. All right? It's funny.
So if they were to do a future Power Rangers movie special series with you, where would Zack be right now?
Well,
where would you like to see him?
Funny enough, we just did Power Rangers Once and Always, which people were talking about, and Zack was a congressman. And that, as Power Rangers 30 years later, it was our 30-year reunion Power Rangers episode. And Zack was a Power Ranger. I mean, he was a congressman, but needed to come back to Power Rangers. Well, he was never stopped being one, but he had to come back. I don't know if any of you have seen, I can't talk. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Once and Always. Some people I know have. But if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It is our 30-year anniversary. Zack and Billy come back, and it's in honor of Trini and Jason David Frank. So it's a love letter to them as well. So it's pretty cool. In the comic books, however, when Trini, Zack, and Jason leave, we didn't go to a peace treaty. We actually become the Omega Rangers, which is this dynamic force of Rangers that go to different dimensions, helping other Rangers in different dimensions. So I think I like that concept of what Zack would be doing.
A bit of a multiverse situation.
The multiverse, yeah.
Nice. So I want to open it up to some questions now. So I know a couple of people had some questions. So if you just have a question, I'll come over to you with the mic. Just put your hand up. I think, did you have one before? Anybody have any questions that they want to ask Walter? Come on back here.
Yeah, so it's actually quite funny that you actually mentioned about the oversaturation of MMPR merchandise in like today's market, but I just wanted to know what are your thoughts on the Power Rangers Reignition line and TV show that Playmates is doing?
I'm sorry, the Power Rangers Reignition show? I'm sorry, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that. What is that exactly?
It's basically like a revision of the first MMPR season, but they basically used AI to enhance the visuals.
Oh yes, Disney did that, right? I think Disney did that. I thought it was very strange. They had they turned it into kind of like Batman thing. It was like they had pow, bang, and like these different things that would show up, and I was like, okay, it wasn't my favorite. I liked it the way it was originally, but how did you feel about it? Did you like it? You just talk loud. I can hear you. Did you like it?
Well, as long as Power Rangers is still on the air, it's still on the air because it's been like going on for 32 years?
32 years. It's on, you can watch it on Netflix. All the episodes are on Netflix, at least Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers Once and Always.
Hey, you had a question?
Of course, other than your own, what is your favorite Power Rangers series out of all of them?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. What did you say?
Other than your own, what's your favorite series out of all the Power Rangers?
Oh, my favorite season of Power Rangers besides my own. My own. The thing about it is, like, I was older on Power Rangers. I was the oldest Ranger. I am the oldest Ranger. So I was 26 when I did Power Rangers. I was playing a 16-year-old, but I was actually 26 years old. And so when I left the show, I was probably 28, and I went on from there to do a show on Nickelodeon called Space Cases. Anybody see Space Cases? Yeah, no? If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's on YouTube. You can check out this season. I was like a Star Trek for kids, kind of a mix of Star Trek and Lost in Space, and I was Captain Kirk. My character's name was Harlan Band. So I went on to my show on Nickelodeon. It ran for a couple of years. It was the #2 show behind Keenan and Kel. And then I booked a show called Malibu Shores with Aaron Spelling. So I did Malibu Shores, and then I was working, doing everything. I did Moesha, Sabrina Teenage Witch, Family Matters, Parenthood, Step by Step. I did all these shows, and so I didn't really have time to watch Power Rangers anymore. And I was a little salty as well because I didn't want to leave the show, and they did the movie without me. I was like, I'm not watching that show. So I didn't really watch any other seasons. I just watched Mighty Morphin when I could. But I've come to know a lot of the actors from different seasons, and I've seen a little bit of some shows. Like I saw some Samurai, I saw some of the most recent show, I saw a little bit of Time Force. And I think if I had to pick another show, another season to be in, I think Time Force would have been the one. I like Time Force.
Do you have any other questions from the audience? Up here. Excellent.
First of all, Mr. Jones, big fan.
Thanks, sir.
I thank you. What you've created, just in general. I never watched it officially growing up, but now that I have seen all of them, I just wanted to. I was kind of sad that there was no Megazord battle in Super Megaforce. And would you, or would you, if you wanted to, been in it if you wanted to?
Megaforce, that was the one where all the Rangers came back? Yeah.
Access to the legendary keys in Super Sentai, it was so much bigger because Super Sentai, Captain Marvelous, and they were known as the Pirate Rangers.
Okay.
They kind of dumbed it down, but there were a few teams they never fully went into, and then the legendary battle was the extended version. That's where they took down the Emperor, but of the main one, it wasn't as good, honestly. They didn't do like a Megazord battle.
You are very knowledgeable, my friend.
I know the original pilot, his name was Zoltar.
Zoltar, that's right. Yep, you're right. I didn't see that. I didn't see Megaforce, but I heard about it. I think it would have been really cool to come back. This is the problem. Once I left the show, I joined the union, which is why I left the show, because I was like, this show should be union so that it's fair to all the actors. I joined the union, and I couldn't come back to the show because it was non-union. It stayed non-union. So I did do, for Forever Red, I did the voice of a monster. It was Chirac or something like that. I forget that. Yes. I did two monsters. I did that one, and I did another one. I forget the name of it, but no, Forever Red. I think maybe, I don't know. It might have been Megaforce. I did a monster, but I know they had my character there, but he was in the helmet. Like he didn't take the helmet off or whatever. I was invited to come back a few times, but it was always non-union, so I couldn't go back until Power Rangers Once and Always, and it took me 28 years to get back on the show. Wow. So if you haven't seen Power Rangers Once and Always, you should check it out, because I come back as Zack 30 years later, and I'm still doing all the things I used to do. So I'm still doing backflips and hip-hop keto. I break it down. You know, the old man's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I was like breaking it out. It was all good.
You have a question?
Yeah. We were going to ask you about the Forever Red. How did it go? Like, did Saban approach you for that, or? No,
I was called by casting, and they were like, "Hey, so no, it might have been Tony Oliver, who might have called and said, "Hey, so we know you're union and you can't be in the show, but would you like to be a voiceover a monster?" And I was like, "I could do a voiceover, and that's not a big deal. I don't think that SAG is going to lose their mind over that." So they basically called and asked me if I wanted to do a voice. Same thing with Austin and I went back for the Lost episode where we introduced the pilot, and we hosted that, which was a lot of fun.
So I want to ask you, you've inspired a lot of young people for a few decades now, right?
Yeah.
What's the word of advice you could probably give somebody who wants to get into acting, wants to get into dance? What would you tell them? Well,
First of all, you need training. And a lot of people are inspired to be actors, and they're like, "I want to be an actor," and when you think you just, could just jump into it. But it's a very difficult field to be in. It's, anything that's creative is rewarding if you're doing it. But if you get an opportunity, you have to be ready for it. So Power Rangers came to me because I was ready.
Someone's here.
I'm like, hold up, putties. When Power Rangers came up, I was ready. I was an actor. I knew how to dance. I knew how to do martial arts. I could do gymnastics. So not everybody had those skills. In fact, I told you there were 3 different casts. When we had to compete against each other, like there were 3 different kinds of hip hop keto. And the one guy, his style of dancing was kind of like Michael Jackson, and his hip hop keto was like different because it was like Michael Jackson. And the other guy was like, he was a good hip hop dancer, but he was not a martial artist, so he didn't have that skill set. I had the qualities for that. So when it comes to acting, it's a technique. It's not just an artistic thing. It's not like you can just take lines and read them and be perfect at it. You have intentions and objectives. You have to learn how to break down the script. You have to give your character a backstory. There's all these things you have to do in order to compete in this industry where it's highly competitive. I mean, you see a lot of actors go on shows, some of your favorite shows. You'll see they have a television series, but you may never see those actors again after that show's gone, right? They might not get it. It's hard to get another job. Only 15% of all actors make a living in the industry. And so it's very difficult. So my advice is this: if you're gonna do it, get training and do it because you love it, not because you want to be rich or famous. Because wealth and fame come and go. Yeah. And if that's the only way you can be happy, you want to be happy because you enjoy displaying the art.
Yeah. And also, be able to take that rejection, build a thick skin, because that may not be the right job, but the next one could be.
Yeah. I mean, like in the industry, it's common that you will audition 20 times before you get a job. And you don't always get 20 auditions. So it
takes time and effort.
Yeah, it's very
dedication.
difficult.
You had a question, sir.
Yeah. I've been watching the Power Rangers since I was little, but had to stop for a bit. And then when I was on Netflix, I was surprised to see that Lord Zed returned. So question is, out of all the villains that Power Rangers had to deal with, what would you say was the most dangerous and ultimate villain they had to deal with?
Well, I loved Lord Zed. I thought Lord Zed was pretty gnarly when he came on. I was like, this dude's got veins on the outside of his body. That's kind of crazy. I remember seeing that suit for the first time. I was like, yo, that's scary. Like, they gave him a voice that made him a little lighthearted, but I thought Lord Zed was intense. But I have to say my favorite was Godar. Godar was consistent. He was always there, Rangers, the whole thing. And I thought Godar was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yes.
So we're just about out of time, but before we go, I just want to ask, outside of being here at the convention and other conventions, where else can people find you? What are you working on now?
All right, so I got a couple of things going on. I have a movie coming up this summer called War Dogs. It's a cool film. It's a run and gun. It's about a terrorist attack on the United States, and it takes place in Compton. So we are the resistance. It's War Dogs, yeah. So that's coming out this summer. I have a music project that I'm doing. I have a 6-song EP. I've released one song. I released it last year, but I just did a music video. I hope you guys check it out. You can find it on YouTube or TikTok or my Instagram at Walter E. Jones. But the song is called Dance. I did it under a different name. I did it under the name Trey Emanuel because Power Rangers is such a big brand, but I am a grown man and I want to be able to talk about anything I want to talk about. So I thought, let me do it under a different name so it doesn't conflict with the brand. But the song is basically about dancing. It's the first song I released is called Dance. It's about dancing till the sun comes up, and the video is very entertaining. Basically the concept is 3 different dates. We just dance and have a good time, and it's a party. It's fun. I have a comic book that I did last year with Boom Comics. It's Power Rangers Across the Morphin Grid. It's a comic book where they invited a number of the Rangers to come back and do their own story within the comic book. So it's a large comic book, and I have a 10-page story based on a day in the life of Zack. It's called An Apple a Day. Outside of that, I'm just doing Power Rangers and doing comic books. Oh my God, my brain. I'm doing different Comic Cons. If you are interested in finding out what I'm doing, what I got going on, please join my social media at Walter E. Jones. I got a lot of entertaining stuff on there, TikToks and Instagram and Facebook and all that. But yeah, YouTube. Yeah, and Fanward. Yes, Fanward. Oh, sorry, I failed to mention Fanward. Fanward is a project that I'm involved with where we do videos based off of the fans. So you guys tell them what you want, and we will talk about and discuss different things and how we feel about it. And it's actually really cool. So you can check out Fanward on Fanward, Fanward. Check out Fanward, and I think you'll like it. I have a lot of videos, introduction videos on my Instagram as well for that. So
awesome! Thank you so much, Walter. Everybody,
Thank
round
you
of
guys.
applause for Walter Jones.
If we haven't met, make sure you come by the table. I'd love to see you.
Yep, Walter will be downstairs all weekend. Make sure you check out his table. Thank you, guys.
Hey, this is Jay Lee from the Oroville, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight, which is out of this world. You should watch more and have fun and follow your fandom.